Something Like Marriage by J. Bell. The Woodlands, Texas, 1997. Ben was already grinning as he threw open the front door. His smile widened when he saw his boyfriend standing there while casually glancing over his shoulder, as if he didn't really care if anyone answered or not. So cool. Or more accurately, super paranoid, since Tim was probably worried about someone from their school seeing him there. Forget all that real-life stuff. Ben had already decided that this weekend was about making his wildest dreams come true. "I have a surprise for you," he said, after ushering his boyfriend inside and closing the door, sealing them off from the rest of the world. "My parents are out of town." Tim looked around. "Really?" "Yeah. Exciting, isn't it?" "It's great," Tim said after a smooch. "But nothing new. My parents leave town all the time." "Well, sure," Ben said, "but that's your house. It doesn't feel like home, not to me." "Me neither," Tim guffawed. "So what's the deal? We're playing house?" "Exactly." "In that case," Tim murmured as he moved closer, "I've got a surprise for you, too. Want to guess how big it is?" "I don't need to," Ben replied. "You made me measure it last week." "Only because you said that we're the same length. And what were the results?" "We're almost the same length," Ben said through gritted teeth. "That's right, and I'm pretty sure I've grown since then. Where's the ruler?" Ben rolled his eyes. "We'll take care of that later. And we won't even have to worry about my parents overhearing us. Speaking of which, come upstairs with me." "So much for later," Tim said. The cocky grin slid off his face when they entered the bedroom. Books and other random things covered the mattress, which had already been stripped of its sheets. There wasn't enough free space left for them to have any fun. "Oh." "I need your help." Ben put on his best doe eyes. "I want to rearrange my room." "Really? Your parents are out of town and that's your master plan?" Tim shook his head. "It amazes me that you aren't more popular." "Blame yourself. The headboard keeps hitting the wall, as you know. So I thought we'd move the bed over there and the shelves over here." Ben described what needed to happen, and before long, Tim was lugging stacks of books to the other side of the room, his muscles already bulging. Moving the furniture resulted in half an hour of non-stop flexing. "Whew," Tim said, shaking his arms loose when they were finished. "Not a bad workout. Now how about you put some sheets on the bed? Or not, I don't really care." "One more favor," Ben said, batting his eyelashes. "I promised my parents I would mow the lawn. Would you mind doing it for me? I'll get everything set up here in the meantime." "Can it wait?" "They come home tomorrow and I don't want to worry about it anymore." "All right," Tim said as he stretched. "Let's do this." Ben hurriedly made the bed and then went downstairs to peer out the window. Tim was jogging back and forth across the yard while pushing the lawnmower, trying to get the job done as quickly as possible. That was fine with Ben. 20 minutes later, Tim walked through the door that led out to the garage, accompanied by the scent of freshly cut grass. "What the hell?" he complained. "Is the air conditioner broken?" "Maybe I switched it off by accident," Ben said innocently. "Did you work up an appetite?" "Well, yeah," Tim said, strutting over to him. Ben pressed his hand against a damp t-shirt to stop him. "That's not what I meant. I'm going to make potato salad and corn on the cob. All you need to do is grill the steaks I bought." "Steaks?" "Yep." Ben opened the refrigerator to show him, Tim looking as if he wanted to crawl into the cool interior. "Do you mind? The charcoal and everything else you'll need is out back." Tim sighed and shook his head. "The things I do for you. And, the things you do for me, right? There's going to be payoff for all this." "Later," Ben promised. He waited until Tim was outside before taking out the potato salad he'd prepared earlier. Then he snuck over to the windows and watched as Tim stood in front of the grill while poking at hot coals. He kept wiping the sweat off his forehead and glaring up at the sun. By the time Ben brought him the steaks, Tim had stripped off his shirt, his brown muscles glistening. "Please tell me you turned the air on again," he said. "Yes," Ben confirmed on his way back inside. "Hurry up, I can't wait much longer." He didn't mean the food. As soon as Tim returned indoors with a tray of sizzling meat, Ben took the steaks from him and set them on the counter. He watched as his boyfriend plopped down in one of the dining room chairs, his arms hanging loose and his legs spread wide in an effort to cool off. He certainly looked hot. His tanned chest was covered with a sheen of perspiration, and as Ben neared, a musky scent filled his nose that drove him wild. He sat down on Tim's lap while facing him and began kissing his lips ravenously. "Where's dinner?" Tim asked when pulling away. "I thought we'd start with dessert," Ben said, going in for more. Tim reciprocated, briefly. "Shouldn't I take a shower first?" "No. I mean, you don't need to. I don't mind." Tim dodged a kiss so he could study Ben's expression. "Oh, I see. You like me this way, don't you? Mowing the lawn got me all sweaty, and the grill got me to take my shirt off." "I don't have a clue as to what you're talking about." "Uh-huh. And what was the real reason for moving your furniture around?" "So my parents wouldn't hear us anymore. And, maybe because of these?" Ben slid a palm down one of Tim's arms to squeeze the bicep. "You wanted to get me all pumped up." Tim grinned before flexing for him. Then he flexed something else. "Mission successful. Although next time we can do it twice in a row instead. You get me just as pumped up and sweaty. It'll have the same effect." "Sure, but then I wouldn't get to see my future husband in action." Tim's eyes widened. "You mean me?" Ben shrugged as if it didn't matter. "Or someone like you. This is just a test run. Don't worry." "Fine," Tim said, wrapping his arms around him. "But if some other guy is destined to take my place, I'm going to give him some serious competition. Did you make the bed?" "Yes, I did," Ben said before biting his bottom lip. "What a waste of time." Tim tightened his grip and stood, lifting Ben up with him. "My future wife likes it right on the dining room table. Mind giving that a test run?" "I'll see what I can do," Ben said breathlessly. Soon he was clinging to Tim's torso, convinced that he was a natural homemaker, because if his future was anything like this, he'd be a very happy boy indeed.
Two young men discover what it means to be friends, lovers, and sometimes even enemies in Something Like Summer. Available as an audiobook, ebook, or paperback at your favorite retailer. Visit www.jbellbooks.com to learn more.